Hey there, my name is Gene Bordis, and I'm glad that you found this video. Chances are you stumbled upon this because of the YouTube algorithm that everyone keeps talking about. However you got here, I'm glad you did. Now, I've been preparing taxes for well over 15 years. And one thing that I've found, one thing that I know for sure, is that most of you find taxes very boring. And I get it. But taxes doesn't have to be dull, right? Actually, it could be quite fun. And that is why I created this channel, to help you better understand taxes, but also, and most importantly, to help you keep more of your hard-earned money in your pockets. All right, so a quick disclaimer. If you know very little or absolutely nothing about taxes, you're in the right place, because this video and the many more to come are created and designed with you in mind. See, there's a lot of information that you can find on YouTube and on the internet, but they're usually designed for people that have some knowledge on how taxes work. I am catering this channel to the absolute beginner, the one who pays somebody to do their taxes and says, you know what, I want to learn a little bit more about how it all works. So if that's you, let's start from the ground floor, and I hope that you will join me on this journey. So let's grab the IRS Form 1040 and let's get started. Okay, so I've pulled up the IRS Form 1040 on my software, and the reason I decided to do this is I thought a visual might be very helpful while I'm explaining what I believe is the most important line on your tax return. And I just want to share that when you get your tax return or copy of your tax return from your tax preparer, you may get a packet that's pretty thick. It may have 10, 15, 20, or even many more pages. And the reason is because you have some worksheets and some schedules that are used for calculations, but all of that information flows to the IRS Form 1040. And here's the reason why I share this, is because a lot of times when you get your packet, it may be overwhelming. But if you think of your tax return as 2 pages, the IRS Form 1040, then it kind of makes it not as daunting and easier to then tackle, right? Because now you only have to understand and look at these 2 pages to get the big picture of your financial situation. So when people look at their 1040, usually they'll go down to line number 35. Actually, first they'll go to 37 and say, do I owe any money? Nope. Then they'll go to line 35A and see if they're getting any money back. And here it shows $2,643. Is that good? Maybe. But the thing is, this number doesn't give us the big picture. So, for instance, if you scroll up, if I scroll up, you're going to see here on line 25A that $5,000 was withheld from our paychecks and reported on our W-2. So we've paid in throughout the year $5,000, and the IRS is holding on to it until we settle up here with the tax return. But it shows that as the return sits right now, that I'm getting $2,643. So where's the rest of my money? Well, that's why I believe the most important line on your tax return is not the refund amount, very important, but not the most. It's not how much you owe, but it's actually line 24, your total tax, because that tells you how much of your money the IRS is going to keep, or how much money you need to send them if you haven't made any payments to them yet throughout the year. So this number to me is the most important. Once you know this number, you can kind of work backwards from there and then see the bigger picture. But most importantly, if you're pleased with the 26 and you never look at this number, when I say the 26, I'm talking about the $2,600 that we show as a refund. If you're pleased with that number and you never look at your total tax, you may not know how much you've paid to the IRS. And if you don't know how much you've paid, you may not create any strategies to help reduce that number. So to me, I always like to know how much did the IRS get from Gene in 2023, 2024, whatever year it is, and how can I minimize that or reduce that next year and the year after. So that is why I believe the total tax line is the most important line on your tax return. Not the only thing you should look at, but to me, it's the most important. Okay, so another situation I would like for you to think about is maybe you look at your tax return and you see that you got a $6,000 refund, but then you look at your tax liability and you see that it is $0, right? But then you look at how much was withheld from your paychecks and you see that it was $1,000. So you got a $6,000 refund, your tax liability was $0, and you've only had withheld from your paychecks $1,000. So essentially, only $1,000 of the $6,000 you got back is a refund. Everything else is pretty much free money from the government, meaning you probably got some refundable credits to the sum of $5,000 to supplement the $1,000 that you got refunded, which made up the total of $6,000. So maybe that was a earned income credit. Maybe that was an additional child tax credit, maybe American Opportunity Education credit. Who knows what it may have been? Maybe some estimated tax payments. So it's cool to be able to take a look at your tax return and see where the money you're getting is coming from, or where the reason behind you owing money to the IRS. So just something else for you to consider as you take a look at your tax return, because I would hope that after this video, you would go take a look at your tax return and kind of apply some of the things that I shared today. Now, it is my belief that every taxpayer should understand how to read the IRS Form 1040 and really be able to audit their own tax return, especially if you're paying somebody else to do it for you. Because at the end of the day, when you sign on that tax return, you're ultimately responsible for the contents of that tax return. So I think every taxpayer should understand how to read their tax return so they can trust but verify, if you will. Now, I also believe that understanding how taxes work and the basics will allow you to be able to make better financial decisions, but also apply strategy throughout the year so that when tax season comes, you can have your desired outcome versus crossing your fingers and hoping that you don't pay as much or that you don't get as little. This way you can actually put some strategy where possible. Now, I've worked with so many people, and oftentimes I hear, man, I wish they would have taught this in high school. I wish this was something, there was a course that is not geared towards a tax professional, because I don't care to learn to prepare taxes, and I don't want a master's in taxation. I just wish there was a resource out there. So I've heard you. I've created a free resource, a full course on how to understand and prepare your tax return, how to understand the IRS Form 1040. And I'm talking like a full course. This is 9 modules, about 49 lessons, and about 3 hours worth of video. Now, don't think it's overwhelming. They're bite-sized videos, so you can kind of go at your own pace. I've had people do it in 24 hours and be done with it. I called the course Learn to Prepare Your Taxes in 7 days because I want you to pace yourself, and you can definitely get this done in 7 days and be ready for this coming tax season. So it is a free resource. And if the course ever becomes paid, because I can't guarantee that it'll be free forever, but if it ever becomes paid, those of you who've downloaded the course, the link I'm going to put in the description so that you can have access to it. But those of you who have downloaded the course and enrolled, it will be free for you. You'll be grandfathered in, and it will be free for life. If I make any updates or any changes, you will have access to that as well. So if you found this video helpful, I would like it and appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. And also, if you know somebody that would benefit from this video, maybe it's a friend, a family member, or a coworker, I would appreciate it if you would share it with them as well. But most importantly, if you have any questions, please put those in the comments. Also, if you have topics for future videos, I'd love to hear those as well. Again, I want to create content for you and not for me. So, may tax time never catch you at a bad time. Thanks for watching.